Good evening, everyone out there in the wonderful land of Twitch. This is John, one of your hosts with Rook and Rasp, but today I am not the host or GM of this show. Instead, that honor is going to be someone else's, and that honestly, I think we're more honored to have them on, and that is Matthew Orr from What Inc. Games. So, Matthew, so much for coming on today.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me. This is great. I'm looking forward to getting to play this game with all you fine folks.
Well,
Look forward to it.
So tonight, for the next few weeks, we are going to have Hecking Good Doggos here on Rook and Rasp, which is one of the most recent Kickstarters that was done by One Inc. Games. I think y'all exceeded 200% on your Kickstarter with that.
I don't recall, but we definitely exceeded 100%.
Yeah.
It was a success. I don't remember the final percent.
Well, either way, I was excited when this game was announced. I think any dog lover definitely is, uh, you know, a fan of the concept, and definitely recently I've seen a lot more games getting announced where people are playing as animals of some sort or variety. But uh, really quick, so for Rook and Rasp this next month, we have obviously Heckin' Good Doggos with Wet Ink Games. We have two other shows that I want to be sure to announce that we do have Calvin Johns coming on, not this weekend, but the weekend after. He's going to be running his gang, King Pink Darkness. So that will be coming to the show and or the channel. And then the other thing that we have is at the very end of the month, we will have Todd Crapper, who is a layout extraordinaire out in the industry, works for a lot of different people, but he is going to be bringing his game, Pandora Total Destruction. It just was released to the Kickstarter backers about a week ago. And we are going to have him on the show running the game for us as well. The adventure that is being ran, and I have no problem announcing this, is actually a Kickstarter adventure that was written by Aloy Lasanta. Will also be featured here on the channel. So I'm really excited about both
Oh,
those opportunities. Uh, but we're here tonight for Hecking Good Doggos. So I'm gonna go around and get some introductions going, and so be sure to go ahead, introduce yourself, where people can see you or hear you, depending on how you get out into the world. And then let's go ahead and do the question here, if y'all don't mind. Tell me a little bit about a pet of yours, either your first pet or a very memorable pet. And we're going to start off at the top, if you don't mind. Cece, you think you can kick it off?
Yeah, absolutely. Hi there, everyone. So my name is Sierra Cody. I can be found on the internet at C Silencio on Instagram, Twitter, all the fun things. Um, and then I also am part of a podcast called The Drunken Geek. If you want to look us up on your podcatchers, it's a Pathfinder Second Edition game. And then for pets, I currently have one of my most memorable pets, and a bit of Artemis is based off of him. He's a German Shepherd mix. His name is Cirrus. And he's a very good boy. He's very smart. He's also very excitable all the time. And he's got these big old antenna ears, and I absolutely love it.
Which is adorable.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming back on this on the channel, Cece. We really enjoy having you here. Uh, Tossing out there that you can also see Cece on our previous Fragged Empire show that we did.
Yeah.
So, moving on though, Michael, if you'd like to go ahead and introduce yourself.
thanks, John. Michael, you can find me on, or you might know me from the Redemption podcast. We are currently the longest running Star Wars actual play using the FFG system. You can find that at redemptionpodcast.com. You also see me here on a few things. I'm a relative newcomer to Rook and Rasp, but super happy to be here. It's a great group, a wonderful group of people. And you can see me on the socials at LoserMLW. My pet is a 19-year-old black cat named Buffy, and who is also deaf. You may hear her in the background of my performance tonight or my playing in the show as it's past her dinner time. She ate but she also gets very vocal and doesn't know how loud she is. So there's a chance she might make a small vocal cameo.
That is adorable.
Always welcome. All right. Moving on then. Thank you so much, Michael, for coming on. Corey.
All right. I am Corey. You've seen me here a couple of times, I think once at least with Michael. I think we were doing the Battletech game together, right? I think
Yes. Oh no,
I
No.
don't know. I
Michael
don't
wasn't in
think
the
so.
BattleTech game.
Okay, you weren't in the
It
Battletech.
might have been
Okay.
another Michael. There's a few of us.
There are a lot of y'all running around. You can find me here at Rick and Rasp occasionally. You can also find me on the Midnight Alley podcast. We are both on YouTube and on Instagram. It's easier to find us on Instagram at the moment. And my current adorable little pet, who just ran off and may start barking in a minute, is a blue healer named Wade that we took in from a college student who is going to school and work full time. And
Aw.
when we took him in, it was supposed to be a long term kind of fostering. It's turned into a full on foster fail. He does not leave my side for anything. He is a big old sweetheart, even if he is a bundle of chaos.
Awesome. Well, I guess finishing out this portion of the frame. So, hi, you all know me. I'm John. I'm on many of the shows here if I'm not in the production seat. Uh, and I would say, for me, pets, everybody kind of already knows Starbuck. She's kind of our unofficial channel mascot, shows up all the time, pawing at Roxy's side or something. But I'll go ahead and mention Lizzie, who yesterday was her birthday, 6 years with us. So, absolutely no idea what in the world she is. There's maybe some Sheltie, some German Shepherd, some Australian Shepherd in her. We have no clue. We joke that she is a Feywild creature because literally one day she just showed up on a friend of mine's farm, just wandering in out of the field, and they couldn't keep her, and she ended up becoming ours. So
Aw.
yeah, she is a strange and wonderful creature. And you can go to our Discord and see pictures of her. Speaking of which, if you are out there in the wonderful world of Twitch, paying attention, feel free to hop on the gift train in our Discord. If you don't know what that is, our viewers will occasionally go in and post gifts that kind of pop into their mind as they're watching the show and different things that they think about. But that's it for
Choo
me.
choo, Nesties. Choo choo.
Yep. That's it
For
for me
sure.
tonight. I am going to go ahead and now hand it off to the GM and leader for the show. Matt, it is all yours.
All right. Thanks, John. So I guess I'll start with an introduction of myself a little bit more and tell you that I'm co-owner of Wet Ink Games, the publishing company for Heckin Doggos. The game was written mostly by John Kennedy, who's I know been on Rook and Rasp before as well. And there's we got a whole team of people that have also worked on it. For some of the extra bits that we'll talk about maybe later, but wanted to get those shouted out. Wedding Games is on the Facebooks, the Instagram, and so you can find us there at /Wedding Games or @Wedding Games or whatever. That's where you can get a hold of us to talk about the game or ask us questions. And for my pet, I am actually a rabbit person. So I currently have 2 rabbits. They are approaching 9, which
That's
is
good.
pretty good for rabbits. But one of them has had, it's been a long couple weeks because one of them has had like some eating issues and had a tooth pulled and
Oh.
been on some pain meds and antibiotics and stuff like that. But they're spoiled little old ladies and get whatever they want, and so they want. It's been one of them gets mushy food so that she can chew it, and the other one is like, "Well, where's my mushy food?" It's just, it's
Aren't
like
they
you're not
all
sick.
aren't they all spoiled
yeah.
little ladies and gentlemen?
Oh, of course,
They
of
are.
course, of course.
They are.
I want my cherry flavored antibiotic. It's like you don't get antibiotics. It's here, have a cranberry instead.
Oh.
So anyway, that's what's happening in pet world at my house this week.
Awesome.
Okay, to talk a little bit more about, I don't know if I really need to say too much more about Heckin' Good Doggos because we're about to do a bunch of it here all at once, and anyone who has questions about it can see it happen. But the basic pitch for Heckin' Good Doggos, game about dogs doing dog stuff. So if you want to play as a dog in the conventional setting is sort of a suburban suburban setting, you're going to be a dog and you're going to be have a best friend who lives in a house maybe, or maybe an apartment. You've got other doggos that you run around the neighborhood with, and you get up to hijinks when the humans aren't watching. And so this is a story of some of the hijinks that some of our doggos are going to get up to tonight.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of like taking over and being the GM, I want to at least give the opportunity for anyone to lay any lines and veils on the table for us before we get started. If there's anything, I expect this to be Heckin' Good Doggos is intended as an all ages game, so I do not expect there to be. Haven't planned a dark and scary adventure with any sort of topics that upset people, but we want to at least put that out there. If anybody's got any things that they definitely do not want that they fear might come up, you can name them, or we can at least I don't know, if I want to at least put that opportunity out there.
No, my specific lines and veils are definitely not all ages lines and veils.
Sure,
So.
sure.
I don't have any concerns myself in an all ages game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Same here.
All right. Excellent. Well, we'll try to, and I also believe in all X cards. So I don't, if you've got a thing that no, let's not do that. Make a sign, and so we'll change script change. All of those tools are on the table. Okay. So let's finish up with character creation. I know you've done your pips in your various slots for your character creation, but there's some background details that we want to get right. Heckin' Good Doggos has sort of narrative triggers that are built into the game so that you can kind of get bonuses for your rolls or on some of your conflicts, depending on if you activate sort of one of your narrative triggers. So you've got your breed. Everybody's put in your breed, and I'm looking at your character sheets. I see you've got, we got a husky, we got a Dalmatian, we got a mutt, those kind of things. That box is actually for one of the four. We call them breeds, but really they're more archetypes. So
Okay.
are you a friendly dog? Are you a cute dog? Are you a big dog? Or are you a fast dog? So those are the four things that you would want to think about. Like, and it doesn't matter, like size, scale, what your actual appearance is. It doesn't really matter, but that archetype, are you big, fast, friendly, or cute are the things. And
What if I'm all four?
well, there's one that you'll be most of. You have to choose one that you'll be the most of. And what that will do is, the way the conflicts work, those four things are each tied to one of the card types in one of the card suits. So if you come up to a conflict that you have one of those cards of that type always on you, basically, because you are that type of dog. So if you're a fast dog, you'll always have a club, because club is the paw print that represents like a lot of physical power. If you choose diamond, that's the big dog, the scary dog, the like, I'm gonna bare my teeth. You've always got that option. Cute dog, that's a heart. And if you're a friendly dog, that's the spade. So you've always got at least one of those, and you can bring it into play as like a out of your back pocket kind of thing. So I don't know if we want to do, we haven't really done introductions yet of the doggos, so I think we'll do that kind of on the next part of this.
All right.
So if everybody's got that breed box filled in, are there any questions? I don't want to like just talk all the time and not get room for questions.
It makes sense, though.
Okay.
So, but friendly, cute, big, fast.
Yes, those are the four breeds. we didn't want to trying to keep the game simple. You could get into like an infinity of like things about like, well, the Shih Tzu has like these special bonuses or whatever.
Oh yeah,
like,
no.
we're trying to keep it simple. Again, keeping with that all ages sort of like, it's maybe something you would play with kids, and so we don't want to make it too complicated. Okay,
Matt,
so we're gonna.
Matt, would you like us to tell you what we are, or you just need it on the sheet?
You don't have to tell me. You
Okay.
can put it on the sheet. I've got the sheets that you finished beforehand, so maybe it'll just be a surprise when you invoke that, and then we'll all get to learn together. I mean, you can tell. You can do more of an introduction. I want to get that one cleared up, but the other two pieces we're going to do are the what your best friend is. That's your human. That's who you're bonded with as a doggo. So we're gonna describe those, and maybe that'll be just a brief introduction there about like you as a doggo before you give that like piece about the human. So the idea of this one is that because you are in such close association with your best friend and your human, like the stuff that they know that they're able to do or that they have access to kind of bleeds over into stuff that you know. So like once per session you can invoke like, well, my human is a doctor, so that's why I know that we should go over here because there's a hospital over there. Or something like that in the game, where you can invoke something that your best friend, you've learned through your best friend, and then it's not something you wouldn't have known. An average doggo wouldn't know it, but you know it because you're best friends with this human. And that's what that is. That's what that's supposed to be for. So, if that makes sense, you can just give some time to fill that in. And there's the paw print on the character sheet you can see, and that's sort of to be used like a checkbox. So like that once per session when you're like, I'm going to invoke that trait and get us this information or get us this access or reveal that I have this thing I can do, you only get so much of that. It's like it's a resource that you can spend.
Okay.
Okay.
And those
And
were
that's-
once per session?
Yeah, once per session.
Okay.
All of these things are once per session. So you've got the conflict, actually, let me check and make sure that that's correct about the conflict one. I think that might be any time you get in it. Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. I can't wait to tell you all about my best friend.
Oh, same here.
I think, yeah, so we'll do, so if everybody's got that one done, and then I know you all did the I help by, and that phrase is the same kind of way. That's kind of like how you relate to your human. So the first one was, my human is this, and the second one is like, this is how, it's the other direction. Like, I am the one that's responsible for this for my human. Like, my human gets sad when they get home, so like I'm the friend that always licks their hand, and like that's how I help my human, that kind of a thing. So that those two boxes kind of represent the two halves of the relationship between the doggo and the human, and you can invoke both of them the same way. Like, because I'm the doggo that always licks my friend, I know that whatever you want to narratively ride off of that, right? Yeah. So that's and those all seem to be, you guys had all those filled in beforehand, and then let's do the last one, which is the neighborhood is. So all of you will get to add a narrative element to the neighborhood itself, like something that you know about where the doggos live, like a good hiding place that you know about, or like something is in the neighborhood, like there's this dingly truck that goes by on summer afternoons, and like I wait for it every year because I have to chase it, or whatever kind of dog comedy you want to add or dog seriousness you want to add there. But like there's an element of the neighborhood that you know about that you want to be in this game, and so you'll put that in for the neighborhood is box. And again, it works the same way. Like, you get to check that box once per session and say, like, because this neighborhood has this thing that I wanted in there, now we're going to go hide in that hiding place. Or now we're going to wait for that truck to come and, whatever. We're going to put something in the way or whatever. it's inviting you to build off of those things in narrative ways.
Okay.
So I've talked a whole bunch here up here at the top, and now I want to hear you guys, and you can introduce all of those things. Like, tell us your dog name, your sort of like the breed in terms of like human terms, what you look like and stuff like that. But then you can tell us as much of those relationships with your human as you want, and fill out that stuff and tell us what's in. And I do need to know what's in the neighborhood, because then that's, I want to.
Yeah, it helps build the story. Yeah.
Right. I want to describe what you guys, what's in the neighborhood. So yeah, quick introduction to all your dogs, and especially, you don't have to give us like everything and read us the whole backstory that you wrote, but
No worries. Anybody want to go first, or y'all want me to go first, or?
I'll let you go first.
It is the Rook and Rasp channel, and John, you are direct representative.
Fun. That's how it always works, right? Well, so I am playing a Shih Tzu, little black and white dog with the, I'm gonna say that my character actually has that little bit of underbite that sometimes develops, and has a red bandana, very similar to my art. Now, my art shows him to be a little bit more gray, and that is because I'm pretty filthy. But I have a little red bandana. My owner, my best friend, his name is Jimmy Haskins, and so I have named him for Sean on the channel. If y'all know Bink26, every character that he has on every show is Haskins. Whether it's his Star Trek Adventures character, often whatever century that is a Haskins, all the way back to his Call of Cthulhu character is a Haskins. So my owner's Jimmy Haskins, who is a mechanic, and I help him out by being kind of his fetch and sidekick in the garage.
Oh.
So that's what I do. Now, the location in the neighborhood for me is an old fort. I'm gonna say that in our neighborhood there is a area that can go out into some woods, whether that is actual woods or just the size of a lot that just was never developed. But there is a old fort that fell over. It was a tree house, and the way that we get into the tree house is actually through the old tire swing. We've kind of made a little tunnel through the tire swing, and that now leads us into the fort.
Is that going to be big enough for daily?
I don't know. It's a big tire. We'll go with that,
Okay.
Monster truck tire.
I guess since I volunteered Daily, Daily is my character. She is a big, beautiful Newfoundland Pyrenees mix mutt. She's got more than just those two, but those are the two closest to her. She's a fairly chunky dog, built. Her best friend is a first-year college student out on her own named Becky Strong. I help her by hilariously being big and strong and intimidating when, she needs to go out anywhere. She takes me with her, because I'm more intimidating than I actually am. I look tough. And one of the favorite places that I like to go in the neighborhood is the nearby lake that kind of probably borders somewhere on that undeveloped property with the treehouse.
Cool.
Well, I can go next. So I'm playing a character, or a Dalmatian. Her name is Artemis, also known as No Stop That Get Down. She is a purebred Dalmatian, and she is very well trained, but extremely spastic. So her mom, whose name is Buffy Martin, put her through a bunch of puppy training classes, and she definitely picked up those rules, but also still has a fun puppy side because she's still young. She's about a year old at this point. Her mom is a social media influencer, and she knows her thing that she knows about the neighborhood is where all the good dog parks are. And so she's talked to all of the dogs in these dog parks, and perhaps maybe they're not the best dog parks, but they are the prettiest for pictures to be posted on the internet.
I guess that brings us to me. I'm playing London, who is a middle-aged Siberian Husky. Fluffy gray and white coat, big blue eyes, big grin, just big. It's pretty big. London's best friend is Tommy, who is a retired police officer, but really just likes to spend his time hiking in the outdoors. And I tend to help my best friend by keeping him from getting too lost. But our neighborhood, it's the big city. There's a lot to see, a lot to smell, a lot to bark at. It keeps me pretty busy.
Yeah,
Okay,
that looks fun.
great. Okay. All right. So, I think, thank you all for introducing your characters there. I think to set up my little story here, I need someone at, it sounds like it might be you, London, but I won't make you choose it. So it's somebody has been a good boy and is going to get a ride in a car later today, and that somebody's looking. I don't want to force anyone to make this part of their character, but because it takes different doggos for different things. But I think I need a doggo that's looking forward to a car ride later today. Maybe like a. And so, like the retired police officer, I was kind of picturing it as like a red convertible, so you can really get the like full wind in your face kind of feel from it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But if that sounds like something you want to yes and on, I think that's how we'll set that up.
Yes, yes, and I love to think that London actually loves to ride in the back seat.
Okay.
He likes to lets him get his head closest to Tommy.
Oh.
Oh,
And
right.
then he can
right,
also
exactly.
put his paws on both the driver and passenger seat and just kind of get up and put his face right in the wind while the car is going.
Excellent. Excellent. All right. So so we're gonna start with you then, London. You're in the yard. You know this trip is coming. Like you and Tommy have communicated on some level. You know this is there. Like maybe you saw him washing the car this morning, and like he's gone in the house to do some best friend stuff before you get this ride. So you're out there in the yard. Like it looks like a beautiful day, and you observe there's this it's like it's the not necessarily the craziest thing you've ever seen, because I don't want to tell you your whole story, but like there's a squirrel, and the squirrel comes and it is like on the car, and then it like takes its little hand and it grabs the keys to the car, which like you're not really sure what the little dangly metal rings is exactly, but it's pretty integral to the whole like riding in the car process.
When he
And it
doesn't
take-
have the dangly thing, we don't go.
right, exactly. And he grabs the squirrel, grabs the dangly thing, and like jumps into the like hedgerow.
Oh no! and there is going to be some frenzied barking, and immediately London dives into the hedgerow.
All right. So this is so I think again I'm kind of railroading the very beginning to get our little adventure going. So like let me give you a so we're gonna say that like you can't immediately, you have this moment like, yes, I'm gonna go sorry, it's a motorcycle, a moped driving by outside. You're like, I'm gonna get this squirrel, and you go after the squirrel, but like you just miss, or like
Of
you're in the
course.
hedgerow and like you can't find the squirrel.
I'm a
And
big dog.
you're
The hedgerow is really tight. It's
Mhm.
London's got to wiggle to get through it. The squirrel can just dart through.
Right. And so the you get over this moment of like you don't know where the squirrel is, and so like your first thought is like, I need the rest of my doggos. And so you make whatever sound it is that like gets your doggo group together, like whatever it is that you as the gang of this neighborhood, the pack of this neighborhood have organized, like, oh no, one of us is in trouble, we got to come help the other doggos. So
So the
like
Twilight bark is what you're saying.
it's I didn't it, this is the I
Is
didn't
it
want
the
to say
husky
Twilight Bark, but
scream?
like there's definitely a way that you are going to communicate, London, and then we'll pick. You'll see how we're making this happen here in a minute, but like yeah. So
London will dip his head back out of the hedgerow and like shake his head a little bit to get the brush off of him, and then barks into there as a roll, 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 roll.
excellent. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna kind of like this is a this is the Avengers Assemble montage, right? Or like the scene that comes about 2/3 of the way through every episode of Thundercats, whatever that is. Like that's what we're doing. Like you other three doggos, you've heard London give the signal that there's trouble in the neighborhood. So what I want you to do, I think if I can remember the order that you guys went in when you, well, it doesn't matter, but like give us a scene where you are and what you're doing, presumably with your human. What does an ideal day look like for each of your doggos when it gets interrupted by this call for help from London? So tell us just a little bit about like what you're doing. Introduce your doggo a little bit more with the human, with the whatever. It's been a perfect morning so far. What does that look like? You want to go first, Cece?
Sure. So Artemis and her mom went out for their morning walk to the coffee shop down the street, and Artemis got her little whipped cream cup, and she's super excited, just having a great time. And as soon as my mom and I get home, I hear this, and I look at my mom, and the second she lets me off my leash, I bolt through the dog door at the back of the house.
Excellent.
Just ready to go.
Is it one of those fancy dog doors where if you don't have the collar, you can't go out of it? Or
Oh,
you can't get back in?
obviously. Yes. I have my collar on. It's just the leash she removed. It's fine. It just means I can't have friends over very often.
What's the collar look like?
So it is pink. Because that's my mom's favorite color. And it's got a big old sensor on the side, so somebody always knows where I am. There's like an app that she can use to figure out where I've gone. But it's definitely pink. It's got some little like rhinestones on it, because obviously who doesn't want rhinestones on their collar?
Then they probably spell out your name. Spell out the
Exactly.
rhinestones spell Artemis.
Yeah, exactly.
You've almost described one of my dog's collars, so.
All right. So I guess I'll go next. Daly's perfect morning routine is just Becky wakes up, gets on her computer. Daly follows her from the bed in the bedroom to the bed next to the computer desk. Flops down on it, lays her head on Daly's foot. Daly puts on her headphones, and she's just gone for the day into work mode, working on classwork and everything like that, maybe listening to a lecture. When Daly hears the bark of distress from London, she'll just casually get up, walk to the back door where the dog door is, nudge it open if Becky forgot to unlock it. She knows how to unlock it. She's a smart dog. Wiggle out through the dog door, wiggle out from that one particular area in the fence line where the grass is much taller because there's a divot but it's just small enough that the mower keeps it level. Wiggles through that. You're not sure how she wiggles through a hole that small, but she manages it. And goes to find London.
Nice.
So.
Guess that leaves me.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I am probably laying down in the shade in a large garage, part of my best friend's home, and the car is he's working on a car, some sort of wannabe sports car. It's up on blocks, and he's under there, and the place it's not exactly clean. And there are cobwebs that have just kind of bundled together with the grass debris in the garage, and I'm probably laying in a stack of that. I hear the bark, and I'm like, I come over to my best friend Jimmy, and I'm like, I give that little, hey, kind of hey bark in his ear. And after he responds, he's like, "Yeah, go get me something." And I go over, I grab some random wrench, drop it over by him, run over to a cooler, pull out a little tiny can because I cannot pick up the full size ones, and I drop that off on him. Kind of flop up against his head, rub a couple times, then run out the garage. So. And so here's this little Shih Tzu just running out of the garage and running down the street to go see why is London barking now?
All right. So you've all gathered around, and London, you are there, and all your friends, all your neighborhood pack mates have shown up to help you out this situation.
When they come into the yard, you just see London's rear, and his tail, his big gray and white tail is just flipping in the air, and he is trying to wiggle himself into that hedgerow as hard as he can.
Excellent. Okay. So I mean, you guys are there. You see this big rear end of this dog wiggling, just all tail and haunches wiggling in the hedgerow.
Oh, London, what's going on? We're here.
London, you barked?
Squirrel! We got a squirrel!
Oh, squirrel! And
Squirrel.
I run into the bush really quickly, and I'm like, oh, whoa, too far, and I turn around and run back out the other way, passing everybody. and then I run up next to you, and I'm like, okay, what's the plan? Okay, what's the plan?
Yeah. Go ahead.
He went in there, and I smell him, but I don't know where he went. He's not here anymore, but he took Tommy's shiny jingly things for the big red thing.
Oh yeah. That's not good.
That sounds like a problem.
You probably know immediately, Bandit, that's not good when it comes to the red things, the big red thing.
We're supposed to go, and we can't go without the jingly thing. I want to go. I get to ride. I need to ride, and we don't have the jingly thing.
Ride?
Ride. Yes.
Okay.
Squirrel.
Squirrels.
Squirrel. I forgot about the squirrel.
Bandit is not much for guts, so he looks at the bushes and he's just like, who's going? Who's going first?
Yeah, basically anyone that wants to try, anyone just attempt a skill roll, and we'll anything that you think would be helpful, like just to get us rolling.
Investigating.
Matt, how did the skill rolls work?
Yes, that's a good question.
Sure. Okay, so you have selected on your character sheet to have a number of skills that you'll start with, and it should be 3 skills, and then you have, as a starting doggo, you'll have 3 training points that you'll put into any of the skills that you chose. So in theory, you could pick 3 skills and then put 3 training points into one. I think I was, again, looking at your character sheets. I think you all chose to have like 1 point in each of 3 different things, which is totally fine. So that skill training point that you have is your basic D6 dice pool. So you'll start with a single die in your D6 pool. But you'll see how the skills are grouped into, I've got to remember the proper names for these. Brawn, smarts, and guts are your 3 attributes on the left-hand side of your character sheets, and they govern each of those skills. So there's 3 skills for each of those attributes. And if you are doing a, let me just pull up the character sheet in front of me here. So yeah, if you're looking at like, if you're going to do sensing, that's a smarts-based skill. So if you put 1 point in sensing, you will then look at how many you have, how much your smarts is. And this is the heart of the +1 system, is like that the pips that you put into smarts is how many +1 manipulations you have to that dice pool. So you can buy more dice, you can turn 4s into 5s and 5s, so you could turn a 4 into a 5, so you effectively succeed on a 4, because usually you only succeed on 5 and 6. You can succeed on a 4. You can also re-roll your dice with that, and you can also what's the fourth one? It's escaping me. You buy extra dice, you add pips, you re-roll, and it's the same system as Never
Yeah.
Going Home. Which one am I forgetting, John?
Oh, I'm trying to remember at the top. So temporarily gain untrained skill.
That's it. That's the
Yeah,
one.
add
That's
a
the
die
one.
to a roll. So if you don't have a die in a skill, spending one of the other pips lets you have one in that skill. Or is it that lets you have one, or is
Lets
that
you
yeah,
roll it.
lets you
Yeah.
roll for that skill?
Right. So again, looking at the character sheet, if you don't have any points at all in staying, but you've got like 4 points in your brawn stat, you can like, I need to endure this, so I'm going to buy the staying skill, and then I'm going to buy 2 dice in the staying skill. So now I've got 2 dice to roll. You roll those 2 dice, and you get like a 5 and a 4. And you spend your last point of brawn to turn the 4 into a 5. So you got 2 successes. It's
All right.
it's a fluid in that way. And or you could be, I've seen people that like to roll a pile of dice, so they're just like, look, I got a brawn of 4, I'm just going to add 4 dice to my roll, boom 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 boom, and take the successes as they come. So that is how skills work. And if there's any,
I have one just
yeah,
clarifying question.
yeah, of course.
Since if we've got, say, 4 in one, is that per roll that we can add those 4, or is it 1 per each?
It
Like,
is per roll. So
okay.
if you're a smart doggo, you'll have that same number of smarts applied to every single roll you make with a smart skill.
Okay.
Okay.
You're or if you're a brawny dog, every time you do anything related to brawn, you'll always have a number of ability to change the roll.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah. I think someone else started to ask a question.
Yeah. Adding on to that clarifying question,
Yeah.
so there is no slow refresh. It's essentially you make your roll, and the next time you need to make a roll in that same skill group, you just have those points back. Okay.
Yeah, because your attributes are sort of representing your natural proficiency to doing anything in that kind of category. So like, yeah, if you have, again, if you have like 4 brawn, every time it comes up, you've got four chances to manipulate your dice pool. So,
All right.
or four options to manipulate your dice pool.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So I guess that being said, I am going to investigate this hedgerow.
Investigate the hedgerow. All right. So investigation is a guts-based roll. So
And I have a point into investigating
all
just
right. So
by
that's
itself.
starting with 1 die.
And then I'm going to use 2 of my guts to add 2 extra die.
So you got 3 dice.
3d6.
Yep.
Ooh. I'm going to use my last pip to make one of the 4s that I just rolled a 5.
Great. That works. So you got one
So,
success on your investigation.
one success on my investigation.
Excellent. That's how the +1 dice system works. That's how it works. You just
Awesome.
did it. And so you are looking around. We jokingly say sniffestigate when we refer to doggos, but that was I guess those are separate skills actually. But you're sniffing around, you're looking around, you're investigating, and you see the squirrel, and it is there. It's kind of like you're kind of like maybe you're while Bandit and London were trying to go like right through the hedgerow, you kind of like back up and go around to the kind of the halfway up to the front yard, so you can go back down the other side of the hedgerow. You can like see, and you get a view into sort of it's not like a wild area, but it's a little bit of like I'm imagining like a little berm almost between this row of houses and some more open area of the neighborhood beyond. And it is there's the squirrel sitting in a tree in that area, and or a squirrel anyway. It might be that squirrel.
Well, does it have a shiny thing in its little paws?
It doesn't. So you can, yeah. You spotted the squirrel. You found it, or a squirrel anyway.
All right. I call over the other dogs with a short, soft little oof. I don't want to scare the squirrel, but I do want to say, like, hey, over here.
All right.
So,
I will just trot my way over there. Okay, what's up? What do we got?
there's a squirrel up there. Is that yours, London? Is that the one?
London is doing his best to not make a scene.
Good boy.
I don't see shinies. I don't see shinies.
Does it smell like the squirrel, London?
Ooh. Do you have a?
London could do sniffing, but London doesn't have sniffing. But he's willing to use some guts to try.
Sure, if you want to try to sniff out if it's the squirrel.
See if it's the squirrel. Oh boy! All right, so I don't have any points, so I'm going to spend 3. I have 4 guts, so I'll spend 3 of those to give me 3 dice.
It would be, yeah. So if you got 4 points, it's if you don't have it, if you didn't choose the skill at character creation, 1 point is to get the skill at all.
Yeah,
Okay,
it doesn't
got
give
it.
an
So I'm
automatic
spending a point to just
then-
be able to use sniffing.
Right.
Okay.
And then you get you have 3 points to spend. So you can buy 2 dice and then keep that one for the reroll or.
Well,
the
I rolled the 3, so I'll go with the fact
Sure.
that I spent 1 and I rolled 3.
That seems very fitting with as you've portrayed London so far. You're just just gonna go right for the full sniff.
All
Yeah,
in.
he's going for the full sniff, and I did get 1 6.
Sure.
Nice.
All right. So it smells pretty. You didn't get a great. You had enough time when we were watching the squirrel like steal the keys in the first place that like you're like this is the squirrel. This is the squirrel, guys. Or you feel like it's the same. It's the same.
And to answer the question, London doesn't say anything. Just the growl gets a little more intense, and his fur raises a little bit. His hackles get a little up.
You know, with the husky, that would be noticeable. I was about to ask, are you too fluffy? Yes, go ahead.
I actually have a question. World-wise, is this more of a Benji Lassie world where the animals only speak to their own kind, or is this more of a Disney like, Oliver and Company or whatever else, where the animals can cross-communicate across
Species divides.
I
Or-
studied squirrel in high school.
So
Are you fluent?
I did make it to AP squirrel. So
AP squirrel. AP squirrel. Nice. I mean, I was imagining when I was planning this adventure, I was imagining the sorts of things that the animals in Rescue Rangers got up to, and that is definitely a all the animals to each other kind of world. But I am also a fan of Watership Down, where I believe it's Watership Down that has the concept of hedgerow common, which is like there's rabbit speak and there's bird speak and there's like badger speak, but then everybody can speak hedgerow common, and it's not as quality of communication, but it's what it passes for communication. So it's kind of somewhere in between, and you don't expect not to be able to talk to the squirrel. You'll be able to. You don't feel like you'll have a problem making yourselves understood when it comes to engaging with the squirrel. If you choose to, you could just say like, well, the squirrel. Yeah, the adventure you could make a shocking choice that by not accepting the call to adventure.
Okay. Next question: is the squirrel up in the tree or is he down in the ground?
It's more like I'm thinking it's like almost like a because it's on I imagined it like a berm. It's almost like under a bush, but still like at your eye level almost. Like it's kind of still up in the air, but like maybe there's trees beyond the berm. Like it could maybe escape real quick, but like right now it is on the ground technically.
All right. I think unless somebody tries to stop me, I am going to rush the squirrel.
All right.
And I'm going to do a little parkourgy.
Oh,
You know.
nice.
No.
Nice.
The puns have started.
I'm here
Oh.
tonight, people. Sorry.
My heart is full.
But yeah, so I do have performing for feats of agility and strength, and I have 4 dots in that brawn moving. So I'm going to purchase 2 more dice to roll, so that'll put me at 3 to start and leave me 2 dice to mess around with.
All right.
Perfect.
Ooh, so I rolled a 1, a 5, and a 6. I'm going to spend 1 die to re-roll that 1. And that turned that into a 6.
All right.
Nice.
So you are an impressive corgi. You kind of like you definitely are able to perform this feat of deft maneuvering to put yourself where you want to be. And where is that? Where do you want to? Short of actually like grabbing the squirrel, where do you want to suddenly appear?
I can imagine like rushing out, like agility training course thing, running up a route that is kind of nearby, using that as a ramp, just springing off of it and bouncing onto a branch nearby, and kind of landing as well as I can on the branch. Hopefully it's a large one, and look, I turn, down towards the end of the branch where the squirrel is, so kind of like cornering that squirrel only onto that one branch.
With every
Okay.
deft move, does Bandit say parkourgi?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm calling that out. Parkour!
Okay, I'm actually going to because you got 3 successes on that roll. I'm actually going to alter the next little part here. So before I want to make sure everyone else, because of the way conflicts work in this game, again, slightly different from maybe something else. I kind of want to give everybody else a chance to Bandit has jumped off and these amazing parkourgy moves to like get on the branch with the squirrel, like all above your eye lines, and like the Bandit is just there, and almost too fast to follow. So like seems to be about to engage the squirrel, you would presume. So like how does anyone else want to like kind of there's not really initiative in this game exactly, but like kind of that sort of like where do you want to be before this conflict starts? Like let him handle it, you want to get involved too? Like, what do the other three of you doggos want to do?
So Artemis definitely wants to be close to this action. She thinks of this like playing. And so her tail's just whipping back and forth, and she's in the little like downward dog position because she's so excited to see what's going to happen
Oh,
next.
excellent.
But she's
Excellent.
very close to this hedgerow.
Okay.
So, yeah. Well, Daly would like to get behind the squirrel, like while our little Shih Tzu is doing their parkourgy maneuvers. I'm going to kind of just meander my way behind.
We had Amir Nugget did also suggest parkour.
I can see
That's
that.
pretty good. That's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
That
It
is
pretty good.
I do feel like that either parkourgy or parkour should be like a training specialization on the sheets now.
So, all right.
All right, so you're kind of making an encircling move there. London, what are you doing? You gonna
London's going to
engage?
continue to he's going to try to use his fur to make himself a little bigger, right?
Okay.
The puffing of the fur, and he's going to slowly move toward the squirrel while everyone else is getting in place,
Okay.
trying to hold the squirrel's attention.
Okay. Excellent. So it sounds like you're all kind of engaged. So that's what we want because we want all the players to always be involved. So like, the other half with a +1 game, which Heckin Doggos is a +1 game. We talked about the skill stat. We've rolled a couple skills. The other half of +1 is always something with a deck of playing cards. So the something that's going to happen with the deck of cards in this game is all of the conflicts. And I don't am I jumping around here? I don't want to be cutting in and out. Am I good?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
you're
can
good.
hear you.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Should be going great.
Okay. I'm having some hitching on my end, so I don't know
Oh.
what that's about.
Oh,
but
no.
okay, so the conflicts are resolved with card. So you should each have a hand of 4 cards, and I know we've got our little thing out there, and I don't not sure how
If
we
y'all,
don't have our playing cards. We'll need 4 cards for each player, and I think
we could go cardinal direction for the players, so they can have a hand in front of them. Off the deck. It's kind of a center screen, and we just go. Who want? I can be at the top, and if somebody wants to be below. So, and I
Sure,
can.
I'll be south.
I'll deal out really quick.
Yeah, I'll do east.
Oh, yeah.
Unless CC would like east, I'm pretty easy.
Oh.
I'm multi-directional.
Sorry.
I like west. West is good.
Right.
There we go. And everybody should have.
I think I put one out myself.
Yeah,
which is
there's
why
a-
I
It's
think
all good.
somebody
I'll
ended
move
up with
back
5
there. So.
I'm going to try not to put it in my hand.
Okay.
Thank you.
There we
So the way that a conflict will work in Heckin Good Doggos is you have some options. And let me go to the thing. So those things that I talked about your breed, like the big, fast, friendly, or cute, those equate to the 4 suits in a deck, and they are kind of approaches of how you want to approach this conflict. Skill rolls are for interacting with other things that are anything that isn't like another being. So you'll do skill rolls to interact with like doors, cars, grass. But if you get into a conflict with another being, like another animal or a human, or maybe if you're playing in the game mode in other ways, a supernatural being of some sort, it becomes a conflict instead. And there's 4 ways to solve a conflict. You can solve a conflict by befriending your opponent. You can solve a conflict by like sort of sweet talking or like just kind of pouring on the sugar, like playing on how cute you are, like like winning over a person through sort of emotional ways that isn't as giving as friendship is. Friendship is sort of like meeting of equals, but the hearts is sort of like, no, 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 I'm adorable and you want to do what I say. Diamonds is straight up attacking, like with the teeth and claws, and then clubs is some sort of other physical sort of like attack, or it might be outrunning something, it might be body checking something, something like that, or you know. Um, so it sounds like you've all kind of set up to do either uh, a um, a frightening intimidation kind of check, or possibly a like chase and capture this thing kind of challenge. But I will tell you that friendship is still an option for this conflict. Like that's an option, but the way it is there's different ratings. So um, it's like it'll be 3 spades to try and befriend the squirrel, or 2 diamonds to intimidate the squirrel into talking to you, or 4 clubs to try and capture the squirrel, because it's going to take some pretty heavy. Dogs aren't necessarily the best at capturing things that are in trees, so it would take 4 clubs to capture this squirrel. But you can decide as a group how you want to approach it, and the way you do it with the cards is you like look at your hand, like what can I do, what can I contribute. You kind of decide what you or want to do, and then um, you'll describe what happens with that.
All right, so we can go ahead and look at the cards then.
Yeah. Look at your cards. That's your hand, and
My goodness.
sorry, I should have said that at the beginning, so you could have been looking at them this whole time.
All right. Well, clubs is right out.
It is sort of like and this is sort of like, again, sort of like the family friendly part of the game is kind of like, what do we want to do? Like, how do we thing? It's sometimes, usually conflicts will be as a group, and you'll all be able to contribute your cards, and sometimes you might be in a situation where just one person has to use their cards. But you guys can decide how to approach this conflict with this squirrel based on your cards and your own predilections as players.
All right.
And
So, just to confirm, cute was hearts. Fast was that?
That's the club.
That's the club. Okay. And then my brain is not remembering the other.
Big was diamonds.
Big was
Yeah, big
diamonds.
was diamonds.
Okay.
And the last one is spades, which is the friendly. So
friendly. I feel like
I think friendly would work well, because I think all of us can. Well, most of us can contribute on that.
Yeah.
I can contribute quite a bit on friendly.
Yeah. I can just be in the background looking like, hey, either listen to them or deal with me, kind of just background noise.
Now, so
slightly more on the intimidate side, but yeah.
Now
friendly with a hint of.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, John.
No, please.
Go ahead, John.
Well,
I was just.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Now go ahead, man, because that's the wonder of online gaming is sometimes it's hard to speak. So no, please go ahead.
All I was saying is that, like, if the rest of you are being friendly, but there's still an implicit threat in the background, that's still more on the intimidation side.
Okay.
But, what I said, you can do however you want.
Okay, so what I was going to ask is, now my breed is friendly, which means I have a spade. If I use that spade in this situation, is it gone for the rest of the game, or how does that work?
I think it needs to work. It's like it's like the other checkboxes, right? So it's like you've got a spade. If you really need one, you can pull out a spade, and you're like, I'm the friendly dog. I've got this one. I can always have a spade because I'm the friendly dog.
Okay.
But then you check that for the session,
All right.
just like the other paw prints that are there at the top of the character sheet.
There we go.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So, I'm okay with befriending the squirrel. I just, you know,
All right. Yeah,
I'm
if that's what
also
you want
good
to do, that's great.
friending.
So whoever wants to play, obviously you've got kind of, there's no real turn order at this point because it's kind of like a group thing. So like whoever wants to play your cards, you can say, I'm going to play a card and this is what I'm going to do to offer this friendship. And there's no real, it's just suits. They're not really numbers. So you don't really have to like play to like, oh, this is the jack of spades. So it's more important or whatever, it's
Okay.
just, we need
Literally
it.
just them.
It's
Yeah,
just the
okay.
suits. Yeah.
okay.
Um,
All
and
right.
there you'll need 3 spades total before the squirrel will be convinced that you're friendly. So 3 cards need to be played and describe how you make after this aggressive like surrounding. What do you do to try and befriend the squirrel after that? Like,
Well, I'll throw in a spade,
mhm.
I'll
and
also throw in one, but yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
and London will. Are we discarding then? These get discarded,
Yes, you
correct? Okay.
discard.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right. So
I'll
so
scooch my cards over.
there's 3, and London will immediately go from a growl till he'll like kind of lower his haunches. His tail will start wagging in the air, and he'll just start like going like just kind of panting, tail wagging in a friendly manner. No more growling.
All right.
All
I
right.
will also throw in a spade, and well, Artemis is already in her friendly, like playful kind of setup. But I think maybe she, instead of still remaining in that downward dog position, she's kind of just like moving back and forth and like, hi, hello, hi. She's just very excited to be here.
All right. Excellent. And you said you wanted to throw in one too, Bandit?
Yeah, and Banna's like, hey, we'd love to play sometime, but we really need the shiny things. So we can play. We're cool, right? And yeah, just trying.
All
Yeah,
right.
little body language. But at the same time, squirrels are known for running away, so that's more of why I got into his way. I'm not trying to be too intimidating.
Oh, okay. Okay, that makes sense. Uh, all right. So you guys have played the necessary cards, and you've offered this friendship, and you've beaten this conflict, and through friendship, and so that's great. So that's the end of that conflict, and we'll continue narratively. But then mechanically, you guys get to draw back. Anyone who played a card can draw back up to your hand of 4 cards after the conflict. And just for kind of showing off the gameplay, like this, there's a consequence for each. If you don't have the cards to meet a particular conflict in any way, or don't want to meet it in a particular way, you have to take the consequence that for that round of combat, and you can discard your cards and get new cards, or play cards and fail, and then you'd get new cards anyway. But that consequence in this case was that like the squirrel will leave, like you just said, John. Like the squirrels are known for leaving, so that was the consequence in this case. But you all met the challenge on the first round, so um, so we will continue with the story. So this squirrel is like after that initial sort of like oh, one's there, and like probably very rarely does like a dog jump up on a branch of a bush to like talk to the squirrel. And so but then you all are like friendly and like want to play, and so it's like, oh, okay, man, yeah, we could dogs on branches, sure, why not.
It's
And
all a
it
dream.
and it's real sort of skittish, and kind of like almost tickish a little bit, but and you said the shiny thing, so it's like It's sort of like, I'm sorry. I don't want to be. I didn't want to make you mad. But like I had to do it. The the bushy tails made me do it. I'm glad. You're not gonna get on old Roy for it. Like, I, the bushy tails are just there. They made me an offer I couldn't refuse.
Uh, an offer you couldn't refuse.
Yeah, a whole walnut. See? And he's got it like there on the
Ah.
branch with him, and he's like, it's a whole walnut for me.
For a moment there, I thought you were telling me that the Pug Father came and visited you.
Uh, oh, the 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 bushy tails. The bushy tails aren't dogs. Aren't dogs like you all. They're raccoons. They're raccoons. They
I was
wanted the
wondering.
shiny things.
Raccoons.
Okay.
All right.
If you want nuts, Tommy's got nuts. I can get nuts. Lots of nuts. He's got nuts. He's got lots of nuts. You want nuts? I can get nuts.
The shiny thing for more nuts. Sounds like a good trade.
I'd love to. I don't have it anymore. I told you. I already gave it over to the bushy tails. They
Can you tell us
you know,
where
I
that
got my
exchange?
trade already. Like I got the nut, but like,
Well, you can get more nuts if you take us to where you did the handoff.
oh yeah. I mean, they were right here. They're probably they're just probably right down the way. You know, they live at the big Smash Palace down down the lane right there.
Okay. Where at? Like, you say down the lane, but it's a lot down the lane. Like,
And I go ahead.
oh no, I'm like the old house,
No, he point like so. Any of you have who has wants to make a fiddling roll? Anybody set themselves up for a fiddling roll? That's knowing about human stuff is fiddling.
I fiddle.
London's got a little fiddling too, but I think
Or knowing.
Bandit's fiddling is better.
I have.
Oh no, sorry. London has knowing about stuff, not fiddling.
And I have sensing. You fiddled?
I fiddle
Okay,
all
go
the
ahead.
time. My master needs help with the fiddling.
I fiddle well.
So I will, again, I'll take my 1 in fiddling, spend 2 pips for 2 more dice, and save 2 for after. Ooh, I like that. I've got 2 6s starting off. I have a 2 on the last die. I will re-roll once. And I got a 4. I'll spend my last pip to knock that 4 up to a 5.
Awesome.
So what's total number of successes then?
3.
Okay, so and you're a mechanic. You're a human's a mechanic too, but like yeah. So there's definitely like when he says the Smash Palace, that's not like immediately like what you recognize as anything, but like when he points down the lane, like this is definitely like there's off down the way, not too far down. And now that you're up on top of this berm, there's almost like an alley between like kind of 2 areas of the subdivision, and like this is almost like an access road that leads to some like big brick buildings that some of the humans do stuff at from time to time. There's definitely several, and there's one building in particular that just smells. It's got all of the smells. It's like you took all of the smells from all the neighborhoods, put them all together at once in that one building, and it's definitely kind of a place where you think, and like all the unpleasant smells in particular,
Ooh.
the like the all the unpleasant smells all end up in that one building because you've driven by it sometime.
Yeah, bog of suffering. Got it.
So it's the I think without describing too much what it is, we can learn more. But I think we're maybe time to take a break. Is that what we were doing?
Yeah, we can actually.
Now?
Yeah, we can go
Is
ahead and
that-
take a 10-minute.
I don't want to. I don't want to.
On that transition
I
between.
don't want to hit us off on too.
No, I think we're.
This is actually the.
Yeah. No,
This is actually the end of my chapter 1, so like it is a good place to kind of break also. So
Awesome.
Awesome. All right. Well, everyone out there in Twitch land, we will be back here in 10 minutes. Don't go anywhere. See y'all soon. And we're back.
Hello, everybody.
Uh, I forgot. Are you got any more intro, John? Or
Not
I'm
really.
taking
I
it
mean,
right back
so
over.
feel free to take it back over, ladies and gentlemen. We are, and folks, we are back with Heckin Good Doggos from What Inc. Games. So, Matt, it's all you.
Awesome. So I forgot to tell you all that like chapter 1 was called "Sit Up, Take Notice," and we have now
certainly did.
progressed to chapter 2, which is called "Tragic Kingdom."
Oh,
Awesome.
All right.
Tragic,
So-
Tragic Kingdom. Wasn't that
It's
an
just
album?
the Empire Strikes Back of our little scenes.
Uh, hopefully not. Yes, John, it was. It is the name of like the most famous No Doubt album.
Yes,
It's
yes,
called
okay.
Tragic Kingdom.
Thank you.
And I don't know if it. I was aware of that when I wrote the name of the chapter, but I don't know. I don't think that plays a part in the story. But
Good
yeah.
names, you know.
At some point, somebody's going to be
Yeah.
told, don't speak, and there will be spider webs. There'll be a couple of other in references, I'm sure.
If you make them happen, I don't know that album that well. Other than its existence. It's been on my want list for like 20 years. I just have never bought it, so. Probably longer. Probably like, yeah. Anyway, okay, so chapter 2, Tragic Kingdom. So with the information that you got from Roy the Squirrel, you are now going to proceed down this lane to the factories that Roy called the Smash Palace, and so yeah, you guys are in the lane. You're kind of behind some houses. There's you're kind of between like two sets of houses, but not like an alley. Like there's a little bit more space, enough that there's like kind of a grassy area on both sides of the little road that you are kind of on. But it definitely is like a little bit different than like backyards. This isn't a backyard. This obviously isn't like the park. This isn't the woodland. This is definitely the sort of like an industrial or semi-industrial urban space secreted away here behind these houses. Yeah, I don't know. You can proceed in the direction that Roy pointed to try and get the shinies back for any of those of you who are coming in that missed the beginning. The shinies that control the big red thing that London was promised a ride in later have gone missing. Roy the Patsy was put up to it by the Bushy Tails, and he spilled the beans on where you can find the Bushy Tails. So that's where you're headed. Is there any kind of like investigations or anything you as characters want to do in this sort of like quasi suburban industrial space as you're like heading out east toward the down the lane toward whatever the Smash Palace is?
I mean, the only thing that I really would like to do before we all go into that place is to kind of scout it out by sneaking around and just checking it
All right.
out. So,
Sure. Like yeah, you can definitely approach quietly. I imagine that you're on the. So go ahead and roll that
sneaking.
that skill. Make that skill check.
All right. I do have a point in sneaking, and then I have 3 points. So I'm going to spend 2 of those points to add 2 more dice. So 3.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna tell you to get a couple successes for this.
Okay.
So you'll need a couple successes on this roll.
In that case, I'm going to use my last point to bump the 4 up to a 5 for 2 5s. So
Here you go, 2 5s. So that's enough. So like you're kind of, I imagine you kind of taking, even though you're kind of the big dog in the group there, or well, you're a
Newfoundland,
right?
Newfoundland Pyrenees mix.
Yeah.
So she's
Right.
Like, I imagine, like,
Uh,
when Bandit gets tired, it's just automatically onto the back with that amazing, what was it, parkourgy skills? Or are we going with parkour?
I think he coined parkourgi. I feel like we got to stick with that one.
Yeah, let's do with
For this
parkour. I like
episode.
that one better.
It was silent, so it wasn't really parkour.
Ah,
So,
perfect.
fair. So, but, no, what Daily does that shepherd belly crawl, like, gets
Yeah,
low to the
that's-
ground,
yeah.
does a little meet, into the building just to kind of
Yeah,
check
that-
it out.
That's why
So-
I was going to ask what size you were, because that's the sort of the visual that and so like this area that you're kind of in this transition area between the end of the lane and the edge of there's like a proper road instead of more like an alley style road that you've been traveling down. There's more of like a not quite as big as like a divided highway, but definitely like a street with like, you know, the yellow lines and like all the asphalt and like the concrete corners, all of it, you know, all the stuff that you're very familiar with as a place where the moving boxes go back and forth, and beyond this area are some low, like 1 or 2 story brick buildings, and they've got smokestacks. They're not necessarily like belching smoke or anything like that, but definitely like they're not houses that people live in. But you kind of have this low to the ground kind of sneaking into the area kind of thing. Nobody's noticed you. There are like workers. There are like somebody's best friends are here. You know, they're working at these buildings. There's a lot of activity. There's a truck, like, and as you're sitting there watching, kind of hiding in this sort of like, I almost imagine like a T intersection, right, between like the lane that you were walking on and this proper street, and so you kind of are in like that grass berm ran along the whole alley that you came up, and so like you're kind of like using that as your cover to like scope out what's happening on the other side of this road. And there's like a big truck comes in, and it kind of backs up to this the factory building, and then it tips itself sideways, and like all of this jumble of trash bags fall out, and there's just broken things, and like you smell all the like old banana peels and dead fish and like broken bits of like clothing and stuff that humans have thrown away. Like you just smell all of that wafting across the street from you as the
Daily just puts a
as this
paw on
truck
her.
dumps all of this stuff like into the building, and it's not really into the building, it's more like these big concrete bays where there are like workers gathered around to kind of like sort through some of this stuff, and then of course the truck rights itself and then drives away, and like on to the next whatever it does. You know, you don't have a best friend that can explain it all to you. None of your best friends do this stuff, so you're not really sure. It seems unfamiliar, but it's definitely human stuff. Humans are doing human stuff here for sure.
London's got a point in knowing about stuff,
Yeah.
and I'd like to see, is it possible that London could be familiar with like what these trucks do, like what this stuff is, other than just garbage? Like, we recognize that
Yeah,
it's trash, right?
Right. And
Okay.
it doesn't. Yeah, it does feel a little different. It does feel a little different. So like, yeah, give me
Okay.
give me a couple points of success in knowing about stuff. And
I have 1 point of
Um,
knowing about stuff, so I'll use that as my in, and then I'm gonna roll 2 more. I have 3 points in smarts total, and we'll see how I do. 2 sixes.
2 sixes.
enough?
Great. So yeah. Two is what I wanted from this roll. So
All right.
you got, yeah, this is trash, and it's got that trash smell, but the more you kind of watch it and think about it, and you're really, the wheels are turning in your doggy brain, it's like it has that smell of all that stuff, but this isn't like, if you're what you're looking at and what the humans, when they start picking through it, it's like it's only broken like broken things. There's not like a lot of that organic garbage that's that's something else. And they're almost like the humans are picking through it, and they're taking out like some gray boxes, and they're opening them up and taking out some pieces and throwing them in bins, and then they're throwing the boxes in other bins.
I think the Smash Palace is all just I think it's all just broken stuff. It doesn't smell. It doesn't smell like trash. Like Black Bag Buffet. It doesn't smell like that.
Why would the raccoons come here?
Raccoons like shiny things.
Well, okay.
It's a lot of shiny thing right there.
There is. You see like various pieces of metal. You see various like, and if you do, every once in a while, you do see like kind of some like proper, as you called it, black bag special type stuff, and that they're putting that somewhere else. Like there's some sort of sorting process going on. The humans are picking up various pieces and putting them in various bins. They want only certain things out of this pile of stuff.
All right.
Oh.
So that's kind of where you're at right now.
Okay.
I can't tell if Bandit is confused or if John is confused. I don't
Bandit
know.
is this like this is dirtier than my best friend's place. I don't know how to feel about this.
Oh yeah, definitely. This is definitely dirtier than your best friend's place.
John's a very good actor.
And so
Method.
I'm here for it either way. If I have successfully confused John, more the better. But I was feeling bad. I was feeling bad for you. You were selling your scene. Good job. All right. So anybody else want to try and learn anything, or maybe try and what do you want to do? What do you want to do? You've kind of got this sense of it being like the humans are looking for special trash at this place.
Where are they taking the black bag specials in particular? Do we see which direction that is?
Ooh. Yeah, so there's definitely like, if you wait there a little longer, you'll definitely, maybe another truck comes and there's another wave, another one of these bays that it dumps its stuff in, and then you see the people, they've got the poles and they're picking through it and putting stuff in certain places. And then they get one of these bins full where they've been putting the like regular trash, and then you watch it, and there's like rails on the ground. I think maybe you would recognize this, CC. There's like humans have like special. I'm not sorry, CC. Artemis, you would recognize the that there are certain places where there's like carts that move on these certain tracks, because you've seen them at like they're very photogenic, some of these places where they have these things, so you're like, oh right, the bins only move on those tracks, and there's a couple guys push this thing like around behind the building, like from where you guys are around to the other side of the building.
Okay. Can I do a sniff and see if I can locate the smell of any raccoons within the smell of the entire rest of this place? Or, I'm sorry, the bushy tails?
Yeah, it is. You can try to isolate that smell, but you're probably not close enough to smell over there, but you could pick up something in the area from where you are.
Okay.
But like, you're probably too far away to smell like across the street like that.
Okay. Well, let's.
Other than the general trash smell, you'll smell like that sort of weird, hot metal smell, and the road smell, and maybe some oily smells, but not no raccoons. But if you want to smell in the immediate area.
Okay, yeah, let's do that then, to see if I can get an idea if a raccoon passed by here recently.
I was to say, Roy said that he had to drop the stuff off there, or did the raccoons meet him near the tree to pick up the shinies?
I was unclear about that. Yes, like
Okay.
he had already handed over the shinies near where he recovered them. Um,
I
so
wasn't sure
there
if it
was
would make
one.
more, if it would be easier to smell Roy, since we already know what Roy smells like, or if it would be easier to try and smell the raccoons.
Yeah, you could try that too. But like, Artemis, what's your role? What is your sniffing going on?
So I have a 1 in sniffing already, and then I've got 3 in guts. So I'm gonna use 2 of those to do some 2 extra die, and then we'll save the other one in case we fail. Okay. Well, I've got a 6, a 5, and a 1. So I'm gonna use the last one to re-roll the 1 and see if we can get an extra
Sure,
success in there.
sure.
And that's a
That'll be
5.
a good success. All right, that's great success. So yeah, you definitely smell like you don't necessarily know whose smell it is yet, but like you probably if you can smell a raccoon has come through this area, and you can kind of smell that. You don't smell Roy here.
Mhm.
If you smell for that, uh, uh, I forgot your dog's name, London. But Artemis, you smell like a raccoon definitely came through this area. That it's almost like a you can pick up like a couple different trails almost like that's sort of like converging on this place. You
Okay.
can pick up that there's some definitely you found the right place because there's definitely a couple as you kind of I imagine you kind of maybe smell around the area. You're like, oh, okay, there's more than one trail. They're all pointing toward this building that you've been looking at.
Yes, absolutely. So, she's gonna be like, "Oh, oh, oh! I smell bushy tails. I smell bushy tails. They're this way."
All
And
right.
she's pointing towards the building.
Yeah, and you
Following
can.
Artemis, yeah.
All
Yeah,
right,
can
you
I
could lead them.
follow that trail?
You
Okay.
can. I'll probably have you do it like you could probably get across the street, and maybe I mean you.
Mhm.
They kind of in general as you get across the street, there are more of the smell of the trash is kind of impeding you.
Mhm.
But you got a real good track on it, so I imagine that you can get kind of you know uh, that the general direction of following the trail will take you to the same place where the human with the bin on the track goes around this side of the building. Now that you've kind of come over there, it goes
Okay.
behind like a fence almost, and that's the trail leads right in that same direction to this fence that's behind the building.
Okay. Awesome. So she'll lead them to where you said there's a fence. Is it like blocking us from being able to
Yeah.
continue following the path? Okay.
Yes.
So she'll be like, okay, it goes this way. It goes that direction. We have to follow these things on the ground because the carts, the black bags, they go this way. They follow the things on the ground. Her tail is just whipping. She's so excited to be here.
Daly is giving you a tail wide berth.
Probably a good idea. That thing's like a whip.
I'm short enough and I'm so distracted, I'm just like,
Yeah.
Distracted by the wagging tail or by what's going on around
wagging
you?
tail, no. No, I have absolutely no clue what we're doing other than we are hunting some raccoons.
London's so excited that we may be near the shinies that he doesn't care about the tail. He's just getting whacked, just sniffing around, watching to see where Artemis goes, and just catches the tail to the face on occasion. He just doesn't, and the tongue lolls out, and he's like,
Artemis is going to see if she can walk into the fence. Like if she paws at
Okay.
it, does it move?
Ooh. Okay. I think
She doesn't know a lot, but she knows how doors work.
Right, exactly. So I was gonna have you roll fiddling with the human stuff to try and get
Okay.
through the gate.
So I would get 1 die for that because she is not smart. And I have 2 smart points, and she doesn't have pluses in any of the thinking abilities. So I have one to gain an untrained skill, and then one to roll
Yeah,
that one die.
that's how it works. You can try
And
it.
that's a 6.
Hey, that'll be
Oh.
that. I think if you're a pretty savvy dog, so you know how, like you said, you know how doors work. So you're kind of like, yeah, you're just kind of like batting around, and like, I think that'll give you the access.
That's one of the things they taught me in puppy school.
Perfect.
Just how to open doors. Okay, yeah, I can see that.
And we'll say that this is sort of like a you're kind of seeing it as like, and this is sort of like there's like a because you follow the tracks there, there's like a track, it's almost like a huge doggy door that like the cart got pushed through. And so like it's not like a normal human door, because you've seen those in like your best friend's house or whatever, but this is like some sort of, that's what it looks like to you. It's an enormous doggy door, and so you're kind of pushing at it, and like, oh yeah, it sure does move just like a doggy door.
She's gonna step through, but she's gonna hold it open with her head because she knows that her doggy door closes and won't let her back in without a collar. And so she assumes that all doggy doors work that way. And she knows that her friends don't have collars because they haven't been able to come into her house unless she has held the doggy door open.
I love it. It's great. It's great.
It's a daily sized doggy door at this point.
All right, so you've got Artemis holding the dog
She's
door.
She's very tall.
Yeah,
so
London's
it's got to be
in,
pretty tall.
London's walking in like, what kind of doggo lives here?
Big doggo. Bigger doggo.
So are there lights on inside?
Well, so it's I imagine, again, I'm sorry, I apologize. This is like a fence, like almost like a chain link fence. Oh, okay. So it's not inside. This is into an interior yard of sorts. And you could have seen that from the outside. But the doors, you couldn't have jumped I guess you could have tried to jump the fence, but the dog door for the cart was actually certainly easier to get in that way.
Use some of that parkour geek to get over the
so
fence.
it's still you didn't even need that. You have the dog door.
Yes.
So it's inside. It's a little quieter because you're kind of sheltered on the side of the building from where the humans were doing the activity at the front with the trucks and the sorting and stuff like that. And it looks like, it's like almost like a asphalt. It's covered. It's like a whole big area of road that that covers this whole area, and there's fences further on that are really there's like trees kind of hanging down, like branches hanging down from the other side. There's a lot of like especially at the edges of this area, there's like grass growing up through the cracks in the pavement. There's piles of mulch in a couple spots around here. And once you get into this area, the thing that you notice really, really prominently is there's sort of a series of 3 large green, they look like the kind of baskets that humans carry stuff around in, except they're really big. And there's 3, and they're green, and they have black lids on them, and there's just a pile of trash all around these bins.
Well, that's different.
Okay, so where are they?
This way.
Okay, I need to check my notes real quick. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. So you've just been there to like take all this in, and you just about the time you take all this in, you see this sort of like it's kind of like almost like you hear a shouting like above you, like you weren't looking at your eye line. There's like a kind of a tin or a metal like slanted roof that like drops off, and then you guys came into this place, and so there's like this metal roof that's kind of above your heads, and there's like this big raccoon that like leans over the edge of the thing and like, hey, what are you all doing here? You know, what do you want? Who comes into the Bushy Tails court?
Hi, I'm Artemis. Whack, whack,
Oh,
whack, 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 whack.
dogs. What do you dogs want with the raccoon queen?
You're a queen?
No, of course not. I'm Slash, the enforcer. You have to talk to me before you could go talk to the queen.
Well,
And he's kind of like hanging off. He's like climbing his way down the drain pipe to like come stand in front of you guys. And this is a big raccoon. Like, I mean, you've seen him probably sometime before, but maybe never this close, unless unless you that's part of your. Maybe you have some experience. I don't know. Again, I don't want to write your whole backstories for you, but like, this is a surprising. Either you think like, oh, I've never been this close to one. They're huge, or like if you've seen one before, you're like, this one's a very big raccoon. Like either way, that you're thinking about it.
I feel
And,
like London's
it-
probably like run outside and only seen glimpses of the bushy tails, like disappearing into the hedgerow or after knocking over some garbage cans or um, that type of thing at night. It's very fleeting glimpses, but this is the first time he's seen one of them up close.
close. Yeah.
Right.
Daly's.
And this. Yo, go ahead.
I was gonna say Daly's probably seen a couple of them up close when she was a younger dog, before she was rescued. But this is still, he's a pretty chunky boy. He eats well.
I think Artemis has
eats well,
been around
and-
some raccoons before. I think her mom has the good trash. And so,
All
because
beef-
she's an
all beef hot
influencer, so
dogs.
she's got to do her like cooking and all this stuff for her Insta TikToks. And so, I think she's definitely seen the raccoons in the yard, like getting into the trash bins, and tried to talk to them. I don't know if she's ever been successful, but the first question is always, "Hi, what are you doing?"
Yeah.
That's so cute.
So the thing that you're part of what maybe takes all of you aback based on your like the way that it's been fleeting before, or the glimpses that you may have caught. Like this raccoon does not currently seem to be afraid of you all. Like it is not running. It is like coming down to meet you all and like challenging your presence here. But you're saying hi, friendly, how to meet you, nice to meet you.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like it's a little wary, like, oh, all right, what do you all want? What can the Bushy Tails do for you?
I need the shinies. The squirrel took my master shinies, and the shinies control the big red thing. And I was supposed to go for a ride, so I kind of need the shinies back so I can go for a ride.
Right?
Ride.
Right.
It's like shinies, huh? So you're into shinies? Yeah, we got shinies.
We
Uh,
need
got
one
but I need
particular-
I need these specific shinies. They go to the red thing. The red thing with the goes. It's got the air and the roof. No roof. No roof.
Roof?
Roof.
And so the raccoon's kind of looking at you like, okay, we'll see. We'll do deals for shiny. We do deals for shinies. And so then he's like, come on back. And so like this raccoon like pads on its feet, and you're seeing its tail very bushy in the air as it walks, and kind of leads you toward the deeper into this area beside the building toward the big trash pile. And like again, you kind of there's so many raccoons here, especially you, Artemis, who was following the trails. Like this whole place smells a lot like raccoons, and so
So many friends.
there's a lot of them, and you notice them now that you're really kind of coming now that Slash is leading you in here, like they're kind of like there's a lot of them that kind of like come out of those big green baskets that have the black lids on them. Like they're coming out and letting themselves down on the edges and walking out from behind the piles of mulch. And there's just like there's a lot of raccoons in this yard.
Yeah.
A lot of them.
Yeah, Daly's definitely going to shift to be a little closer to Bandit. Maybe even walking over Bandit because their size difference is big enough for that.
Right.
Yeah, I'm kind of
Uh,
making myself as small as possible at this point. I'm like, we're in a land of giants here.
okay, wait. Like
You've got me at
you're waiting
least.
to still see the giant dog that goes through that dog door.
Yeah, giant
I thought that we
raccoons.
used.
Uh,
Go ahead.
all right. So, anybody else like? So you follow Slash like into the thing? That's what
Yes.
you're doing?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so Slash comes up and like there's another raccoon that's a little smaller comes up and they kind of have a little whispered words and then the other one kind of motions for you, because they've got little grabby hands. So weird. They got the weirdest little paws, and they motion for you to come over. And the most recent bin that you saw the humans push in here has been like pushed right to the end of that track that it was on, and it's like dumped over on its side, and just like all of this trash is spilled out, and you've got and there's a raccoon and that is they're picking through this. There's a whole bunch of raccoons picking through this stuff and like taking out the best bits, and then you get over by the trash cans themselves. There's kind of like two saggy boxes that are all like kind of wet with gross greasiness, and there's sitting in that like sort of saggy seat is like a nearly corpulent raccoon, like just so big and well fed that like it's just it's even bigger. Like Slash is a big tough raccoon, but here is an even bigger raccoon, and you watch as these fresh potato skins, like potato peels, are like delivered to her paws, and she sits back with like this pile of potato skins and is eating them. And and she's announced by some herald in the court as Her Majesty Charmer, the Queen of the Bushy Tails. And you're there in her court to talk to Charmer.
Nice.
Well, what do you have to say for yourselves?
Hi, I'm Artemis. We're looking for shinies.
Oh, shinies. Sure, we have shinies for trade.
They're specific shinies though. They're little shinies on a round shiny.
Right?
Yeah.
The
Go ahead.
the squirrel said you paid him a walnut to get these shinies, but I need those shinies back, specifically those shinies. Not just any shinies, but the little shinies on the little shiny ring that control the big red thing that lets me go for a ride.
Right?
Ride.
Right.
Okay. So she kind of looks at you skeptically, like, I don't know ride, but I know Chinese. And like, she kind of like motions vaguely at some attendant who like brings out like some choice shinies. And you probably recognize these, both London and definitely you, Bandit, recognize like Ring of Keys, but you can tell for sure, London, that the little particular keychain, the fob thing, that was attached to your best friend shinies are not among these.
And none of these smell like
And there's
Doggos.
also an assortment of like bottle caps and maybe some like the lids off tin cans that still have those sharp edges on them and stuff like that. They're like shinies.
Get your shinies here.
Yeah, like
Is it
and the
a
raccoons
raccoon
like
with a trench
Hey
coat?
kid, you want some
yeah,
shinies?
it's almost like a bucket brigade that they like they're a bunch of these raccoons line up and like hand all the stuff out from under one of the big green basket things, and they lay them all out in front of you, and then Charmer like sits back and eats some more potato skins. It's like, see, for trade.
Can Daly sense if she's being intentionally uh word that I'm looking for, not displaying
Like
the
obtuse.
yeah, there we are. That's the word I'm looking for. Or if she genuinely just does not compute particular shiny with her current collection of shiny.
Um, I don't know. Why don't you try and sense that about this
Ooh.
other being that you're encountering? That's
Yeah.
one of the knowing based skills.
Yep.
You're
And
trying to.
I have sensing in particular. That is one of my skills that I chose. And I have
Cool.
4 points in that, so I'm going to use
Ooh.
3 of those in addition
Ooh.
for extra dice. 2 successes, and I'm going to spend that last point to reroll my lowest die. Which would bump it up to 3 successes, 2 sixes and a 5. So,
Oh yeah,
Nice.
you're clearly like, uh, you definitely get the sense that like Charmer is used to deference from everyone, and so like the the like the idea that she's not necessarily being obtuse or whatever, but it's definitely like she doesn't get her hands dirty with like collecting these things. She just knows that like it's people make this. She's at the top of the system, right? And it works for her. And so, you want to trade? This is what I got to trade. Like, what do you want? Like, like here's my choices. Here's your choices.
yeah.
If you want to be more, I know you've done your bit, London, but like if you're I don't know, like what the I think a more specific like request will be needed to like no, we looked at these or whatever. But yeah,
Yeah.
you don't sense that she's dumb. You sense that she's like in charge, and
Well, yeah.
this is like this is like the beginning of a negotiation process, perhaps.
I think what we'll
Uh,
say is that the keychain itself, the key fob, is a little
mhm.
tiny police car.
Okay.
And so London will sniff around at the keys, and of course, I don't think any of them smell like his best friend.
Yeah,
And he doesn't
they
see
don't.
the little black and white box, uh, the tiny black and white ride thing on the
Right?
shinies. Uh,
Right.
so he'll just kind of look at the rest of the dogs. They're not here. None of these are the shinies. The, his shinies have a black and white box, a little version of the big version that we take a ride in.
Right?
Ride, yeah.
Right.
Charmer, have any of our people not come back yet, by any chance? And at this point, Daly is sitting down and making herself as unthreatening as possible.
Ooh. Okay.
Still
Um,
keeping an eye on Bandit, but just like, very chill dog.
what are you doing, Bandit? You've been confused. You've been expecting. What are your?
I'm. Do they want to make a trade?
It's
Like,
if you're just
he's like he's waiting for that moment. Like, just where are they? It's like that moment. You're waiting for that tennis ball. Where is it? Where is it?
okay.
And so it just
Okay.
seems very much on edge, not trying to draw too much attention, letting them kind of deal with everything. But it's like, okay, it's not it. Where is it? You know,
Are, are you
probably
using
chimes in
Daly's
ever so
front
often.
paws?
Huh?
Are you peeking out from like behind Daly's front paws?
Probably. Just like, where
Oh,
is it?
Hmm.
You know.
Uh, so, um, the raccoon queen kind of maybe leans forward a bit. Doesn't look quite so lazy at this moment, and kind of like uh, in response to your question about like has everyone come back daily?
mhm.
Like oh, we do business all day, so like I have people are coming and going. The bushy tails are getting very big in the neighborhood. Uh,
Mm.
Lots of people work for us. Lots of people come to trade with us. Um, uh, you know, if your thing isn't here, maybe it was already purchased by someone else.
Have you made any or trades today?
Okay. I think we're going to shift now into a conflict. We've
Ooh.
been role playing a little, but this is going to be a structured conflict with Charmer. So
Okay.
you basically it's you can continue. You've done a little bit of the flattery already, so you can continue to flatter her if you want. Or you could try, you could make a real big effort to like really actually befriend her, or this raccoon doesn't seem too tough if you really want to be aggressive about her. So this is going to be 3 hearts, 6 spades, or 1 diamond to resolve this conflict and get the real information from Queen Charmer. So you could be, 1 diamond, show of force, probably succeed. It's going to take a big effort to really be friendly with this raccoon, or you so that'll be six spades, or just 2 hearts to sweet talk a little bit more. You've already kind of buttered her up a little bit,
Yeah.
We do
so it's up to
have
you.
3 larger dogs in this group.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, that Daly's thing is being big and strong, so she's not calling on that at the moment, but
Mm-hmm.
she could certainly grumble a little
I
bit
feel like
louder.
Artemis making a shift from her happy, playful self to supposedly intimidating.
I, I, that's the way you all want to play it. It's fine. Like if there are 3 ways to win this conflict or to resolve this conflict.
Before I play it, because I do have the diamond. Yay or nay?
I mean, I don't know. Is it better? Is it better to? I mean, these raccoons seem to be something that likely the group in the neighborhood would likely have to deal with more than once on occasion.
Mm.
So, is
I
it
feel
better
like,
to try to be friendly?
considering how many are in Artemis's yard on a regular basis, I feel like maybe friendly might be the way to go.
Yeah. I mean, we could charm her. I mean, I
It-
can't contribute to
I
that, but
I have
Two
no problem.
hearts.
I have a heart that I can definitely contribute with charm.
Yeah.
you can like do the puppy dog eye thing and be the cute little tiny one.
I, I'll go for that. Absolutely. After all,
Alright.
I am. What was my breed again? I'm the.
You're a little Shih Tzu.
Yeah,
Shih
Let's
Tzu.
I
let's not
took
choose
it.
violence today.
Let's not choose
I don't know
violence
if I wrote
in
down.
this specific situation. We can choose it later if we want. Don't limit me.
Oh
Alright.
no. Would never never dream of it.
Yeah, I'm.
Alright.
I'm normally friendly, and I'm pathetically, I'm not ugly, but I'm a little bit smelly like them, and I'm dirty, and I can pull I pull the little, Oliver, I'm like, big puppy dog eyes, and it's like, oh, great charmer, we just really want our friend to be able to go for a ride, and you have all of this. Certainly, such a small thing is, you know, not something that you're going to miss.
Oh, and London's definitely going to try and do the sad dog routine, like kind of go down low, put like one paw over his nose.
And just playing up the huge puppy dog eyes, and aren't I just adorable? Just...
You could you do this little routine, and there's almost like you almost get like awes from the rather raccoons, you know, like you're just so charming. And Charmer herself is like, she's like, I like you dogs, I like you dogs. I'll tell you what, I'll tell you this for free. I remember the shinies attached to the little black and white car, the little black and white box. I remember just earlier, just before you got here, traded it already to a crow. They know a fine shiny when they see one. The crows do. That was a very good trade. Very good trade. The crows have your shiny now.
And London lets out like a harsh whine.
Do,
What?
do you know what direction the crow went? Which way? Which way?
Yeah. Well, you know, and she points in like over to further down the road. Like she points you in the right direction. I don't know. I guess
Okay.
in my quick mental map that I've been making of the city, it's sort of to the northwest from where you are right now. Because I said you went east down the road, and so northwest is, yeah. So like,
Okay.
yeah, she points you in the like, you know, don't you know the crow? Yeah.
Do
The
they have a Smash Palace too?
Yeah, it's called the
Uh,
Crow's Nest.
Yeah, I don't know where. I've never been there, but I hear they call it the Roost.
Okay.
All right.
Wow.
Thank you, Charmer.
She does like a little like salute thing, like. I hope we trade again in the future.
Hmm.
This one I give you for free, but we will trade next time, perhaps.
Okay,
She, like,
see you
sucks
later.
down another like potato peel. Settles back into her squishy box.
First
So-
one's free, kid.
Yeah, I can
Wow.
see Daily
All
bowing
right.
back.
All right, so you have seen the Tragic Kingdom. That's the end of my chapter 2.
Ooh.
We're still good on. I think we're still good on time, right? We're
We
not
are,
like wrapping up.
We're about 30 minutes that we can fill, so it's up to you.
Okay. Yeah, I
Right.
think we got a chapter 3 here, so we might as well roll on into it.
All right.
I called my chapter 3 for the want of a nail. All right. So you guys, you as the pack, you leave the Smash Palace behind and head on over to the Roost. And this feels even less likely. Like basically, you have to go back to the road that you crossed to get to this trash facility, and you've got to go up. And there's kind of like a it's almost like a it's like an abandoned shopping mall, or like a not a shopping mall, but like a strip mall, So an abandoned strip mall. So you've got like another big open expanse of parking lot, more stubby green or stubby brown grass growing up through some cracks. It just smells real sterile here. There's not very much plant life. There's You guys have to step carefully because there's like little shards of glass everywhere in this whole parking lot. It's just a real kind of feels like a real crummy kind of place. And uh, the and right in the on the southern edge of this parking lot, kind of like opposite from where the like closed all the line of closed stores is I don't know how to it's a it looks like a big tall tree sort of, but it's obviously made of like metal, and it has a weird like buzzing noise that's coming from like up at the top of it. It's this one may be better to tell you as players what it is. It's a cell phone tower disguised as a tree, poorly disguised as a tree, is what this is.
I, I
But
was
you as
thinking, yeah.
doggos are.
Oh,
Is
I
that
was thinking like it's a power pole or something trying to hide poorly.
yeah? It's a poorly disguised cell
It
phone
failed
tower
its
here, and
deception
it
check.
is.
I think they thought that the natural one was a natural 20 on that deception check. I've seen these things.
Oh yeah, you believe
It's,
you're very well hidden.
That's right. That's how it works. That's how it works. Okay, and you can tell that like as you get into this parking lot, you can tell that there's definitely like um, there's like a big mess of sticks and there's almost like multiple of these like nestled right in with the whatever is at the top of the I look like I don't know what I'm doing. Uh, at the top of the pole, there's all these like nests basically built in all these kind of like layers. Like this is like the Lothlorien of the crows, right? There's like different levels of this big tree that have these different nests on them, and there's just lots of crows all around. You could just hear all of the different crows just they're just like circling this whole area, and so that's what you see when you get to the edge of this parking.
All right.
London like makes a beeline for that tree, and then at the last second, like he sniffs and like rears off, comes back to the group.
Okay. I yell out for one of them. Kind of that bark. Hey, hey, hey! Trying to get the crow's attention.
And you'll yeah, so like you have like uh a lot of it's almost like a wave. It's almost like you that barking sound gets like picked up by some of the crows, and they're kind of like shouting to each other like hey 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 hey, and it's like going through the wave of them, and you just this like endless echo of like what you said, and it's kind of disconcerting almost. And you after a little bit, one particular crow like comes down to you and kind of like lands on the ground and the flutter of its wings, and the crow thing I think is this is maybe the first time you've had like a little bit of like you could talk to the squirrel, you could talk to the raccoons, but like talking to the bird is like this feels like weird. Like this is sort of like this bird has learned to speak to you as its second language, right? Like it's not exactly
Fluent.
clear communication, right? And it's got a lot of like in like the middle of it, words and like that, kind of to, or I guess more caw, caw, it's like kind of interrupting its words in weird ways and breaking its sentences in weird places like that. And so you know and it says yeah, like you You can call me Pinion. We will. What do you dogs need? What do you 4-foots need?
Uh, well, yeah, yeah. London, you know what we need. Yeah. What are you talking?
Uh, uh, and London's tail kind of goes a little bit low, not quite. It's definitely his tail goes from a alert position to kind of a wary position. We need small shinies on a round shiny with black and white a black and white box attached to the shinies. You traded with the bushy tails today, yeah? Yeah?
And it's kind of like shaking its head, like maybe I remember. I don't. It's like, sure, we make trade. We will trade with you. What will you trade for it? And like, it's kind of like, it's kind of like, it's like, meat or sweets. Meat or sweets. We will trade. We will trade for meat or sweets.
Oh, man.
And then like you hear kind of like the other crows are kind of like circling over you guys, like shouting out, meat, sweets, meat. And you're kind of you don't have like a whole flock of them, but like maybe 5 or 6 will come down and kind of like shout at you all, and then fly back to the group and up into the tower and that kind of stuff.
This took a creepy turn.
Well, I don't know. What do we get to trade? I mean, if we were close to the house, I have uppers. Those yellow cylinder things. They make you feel happier when you're playing with them. Yeah.
I
Do y'all have any sweets or meats?
I think my best friend made cookies this morning. So sweet.
Tommy doesn't cook. Tommy doesn't make food. He orders food. Food gets brought to the house.
Mom cooks, but no meat.
Oh,
Sweets?
it
Y'all are
is.
so good at this.
I could try sneaking out the sweets from my kitchen.
Why don't you
Basement.
want more shinies?
The Pinion kind of like uses one of its like wings to kind of like almost like it's doing like the pruning thing, preening itself.
Oh yeah, preening. Yeah,
And-
preening.
Yeah. It's kind of straightening its feathers and kind of fluffing itself up in front of you, and it's like, and it's sort of like, yeah, the bushy tails are dumb. They just want the shinies. We are smart. We want the food. We will trade you for the food. You want that? The very valuable human. The 2 legs, the no wings. The no wings have the best meat and sweets. So we take no wings things and trade them back for the meat and the sweet. Arr! You are sent as go-between. We trade with you. Prune.
Well, I guess we gotta go back and get our sweets or whatever for them.
It's I don't know, somebody wait, what's the sorry, I'm gonna look at
I have a question.
yeah.
My best friend is a college student. Can I use that connection in a fun way? And if they give my
Yeah.
friend London the shiny back, take them to my college student because she will likely feed them.
I mean, you can offer that. That's certainly like that's the point of the like your best friend's a college student, so like you're trying to bring in this like oh, I can make a deal. We can work that as an offer. Like that's what how you want to use that narrative thing, and then bring it in as a deal for the crows. They'll certainly think about it.
Does your best friend drive for a delivery service?
No, she does not. She's too busy with school, unfortunately.
Um, the I so while you guys are kind of like thinking about what you want to do, the the bird is kind of gonna like it's gonna like kind of fly up in the air above you all and like join some of the others that are kind of flying around in the area, and you hear a bunch of squawking and you can't really discern any of the words, and then like the bird that you were already talking to like comes back and lands in front of you again, and then like no flips its beak up toward the one of the nests, and there's like another crow up in the nest that has the keychain that you're looking for like in its beak, and it just kind of shows you that it has it, and then like
yeah, London's tail goes like straight up and starts just wagging wildly, and
Right.
you can hear him. He starts to pant.
yeah. So you've seen it. This is the first time you've seen it since the squirrel took it out of the car. Like it's there up in the tower, and the crows have it right now.
And
So
London starts actually
they
doing
want-
that dog. He starts like doing the pacing back and forth, like at the base of the tree. Completely oblivious to the rest of the group. He is like staring up at where the shinies are and just like pacing back and forth.
All right. So,
So, go ahead.
oh, I was just going to tell the rest of my pack. So I could take them to my best friend. They take the shiny with them. I take them to my best friend. They drop the shiny when my best friend feeds them. Does that sound like a plan?
That's a plan, yeah.
It's plan. I like it.
I propose that to the thing. They don't get food until we get the shiny though. Kind of like, but I'll let them carry it. Sort of scenario.
All right, so you've got a very creative. I don't have any particular skill rolls here. I have just let you decided you guys would come up with a solution. So I like this.
I am marking off that I'm
let's-
using the college student
Yeah, that's the
Bond
connection. Yeah.
connection. Because I mean, she's a lonely college student. College students tend to like to make the weird animal friends.
Sure, of course.
So at least
I mean,
my
to be
best friend
fair, grown-ass old people also like to make weird animal friends. So
does. I mean, true. If I had a flock of crows near me, I'd be leaving out shinies and peanuts every day.
Do you? I don't know if he's still connected with Gnome Stew or not, but you guys know John Arcadian. He used to be on Gnome Stew. I think he still is. Anyway, he's posted. He did. It's like he just started feeding his neighborhood peanuts, and like then they like got to the point where they were like, oh, the guy with peanuts, and they'll like show up wherever he is expecting peanuts. Like,
Oh,
Did they ever
love it.
bring him shinies
was like-
in exchange?
I don't think he's gotten that level of it, but like there are stories of like, oh,
yeah.
the lady that feeds us peanuts every day wants these things, and so they'll like birds will like snatch dollars and like bring dollars to like people that people that feed them, like because they're like, oh, we've seen you have these and you give us the that's kind of what inspired this whole like third
I've
chapter.
only ever been attacked by seagulls for fries. So I've never had birds try to bring me things, only assault me to take the things I have.
So
So, Galveston
Yeah.
seagulls by any chance?
No, they were Niagara Falls seagulls, which are the worst.
No, that is
Oh, they're
Because that is,
they're
like,
the worst.
tourist
They have
central.
zero fear.
because the tourists
Right.
feed them, and if
Oh,
you
it's
don't
bad.
feed them, it's a protection racket.
Like, and no one warned me. I walked outside the little snack shack by Niagara. I'm like, hey, look at the falls. They're wonderful. Ah! Ah! Sorry for
Yeah.
the scream.
No, I have seagull stories, but that's a story for another
Yeah,
day.
yeah.
But
This
We live with
we have to
crows
hold
right
off.
now.
This is
on the
dogs.
seagull
That'll
story.
be the
Crows.
icebreaker for next week.
Tell us about
Yeah.
your
So
seagulls.
tell us your seagull
Excellent.
story.
When, yeah,
I'm
everybody's gotten
I'm
attacked
actually
by
writing
seagull
that
story, right?
down. Okay, so you propose this thing to the seagulls, and yeah, I think they're kind of like they're sort of like you know, uh, it's like yeah, we'll follow you, follow, and then like you get the echoing like follow, shouting at each other, and you're kind of like got this like mob of crows, or I guess it's a murder of crows, but anyway, a big flock of birds that are kind of like flying around, and like there's you can yeah, they're you're bringing crows back home apparently. uh, um,
Mob of Crows is my 80s throwback band name.
Nice.
But it
not a
works.
bad one, not a bad one.
Did they grab the shiny?
Oh yeah,
Okay,
perfect.
they're gonna hold up their end of the deal. They're there, and yeah. So you will lead them back. I probably should. I don't know. I tend to go real narrative when I know that the time is winding down. So I probably should have made you do like another challenge roll to convince them that this is a good deal. But I think we're already on it, so that's fine. Anyway, so yeah, I love it. So I knew you would come up with a fun solution. So like, yeah, this is gonna be fun. But let's see how your human responds. I don't think there's any challenges to like you going back from like this sort of abandoned lot back to like however you want to get back home. Like definitely the pack is still together at this point. So like any problems that Daly gets into, like the pack is still there to support her. So what do you think about this this outcome? What does it look like when you get there? Like how do you what does it look like? And then we'll have everybody else can add some details to this crow party that's going to happen at your best friend's place.
You know what? I'm going to make this fun and kind of narrative.
Yeah.
We get back to the backyard. I sit at the back door. I kind of look back at one of the crows and kind of do a dog shrug of one of my shoulders. Like, hey, do you want to sit here and see how she reacts? Kind of just fun interaction. And then I kind of give a sharp little woof! Kind of that puppy bark that, most dogs use to kind of alert you that they're at the back door and they want in. And I just heard it come through the speaker. That was funny. So, yeah. That's what I'm doing.
I have a
All right.
backup plan, so I'll let y'all do your thing.
Yeah. So you're you're human. So how does this go when I forget your human's name, your best friend's name?
Becky?
Yeah, Becky. What does Becky do when she comes out to open the door?
She probably squeaks a little after opening it, and then goes to grab the camera and grab the shortbread she just made that morning.
All right.
Because, bored, lonely college student, you've got an entire flock of crows in your backyard, one of them probably sitting on your dog's shoulder. Something funny just happened. You gotta get it on photo. But you also want the crows to stay, so...
This is going viral, you know it.
So
Perfect. All right. So other London and Artemis, what other details do you want to add to this shortbread crow party?
London's eyes have not left the crow that's holding his shinies.
Okay.
And again, London's continuing to do like the pacing on the ground. He's not really paying much attention. He's very target fixated on the little black and white box with his shinies attached.
And Artemis, again, not a whole lot going through her little dog head. So she's, again, just very excited to be here. She knows that there's going to be TREATS. And so she's kind of keeping an eye out to see if she can get in on any of that shortbread. But also making sure that she doesn't get left behind when the shinies get dropped. So,
Perfect. Anything else you want to end? You want to add there? You had a backup,
Well, yeah, I
John.
don't.
I think this is all. This all seems to be proceeding as expected. And I'll narrate that in a second. But is there anything you wanna add?
Bandit is concerned that the crows won't hold up their part of the bargain, and they'll be like, "Hey, all we gotta do is bring along these shinies and these four-leggers or whatever you call us will take us to get food." And so while all this is going on with the rest of the pack, Bandit goes over and climbs into the seat of the hot rod, which my master has also replaced the horn with the with a loud train horn. So he's that kind of guy. So after I know all the crows have landed and everything else, he's just going to turn around, jump onto the back seat because he's so tiny. He doesn't have enough weight to hold down the horn for a long time. So he jumps off the seat and then lands on the horn for a bit to hold it down for a little while, scare the crows and make them caw and drop the keys and fly off.
Is he parkouring?
Pretty
Under
much,
the
pretty
horn?
much, a little bit.
Park.
And and after he's done, he kind of puts his paws up on the dash to look out the window to see if it worked.
Okay, so with all of those narrative elements, then we've got this plan has succeeded as you wanted it to. So like the crows are there, they're eating the shortbread, they're squawking, they're having a good time. Artemis, you can get a piece of the shortbread if you want. Definitely one of the crows, like London, you're on it as soon as that crow like makes that you see some of the crows getting some of the shortbread and flying around, and they're screaming sweet, 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 and you drop the one drops the keys, and then you can grab them right away, and then Bandit, you're like, this party's now over, and a flutter of black wings, few feathers flying, screaming noises happen, like the whole yard is vacated. and you've got the keys back, London. You've got them. You've got the shinies back.
London drops the keys at his feet and like rears back and just goes like in victory.
All right, excellent.
And then he looks at the crew and he's like, "Ride. Who
Right?
wants to ride? Let's ride."
Yeah, are you all gonna go ride?
If invited, sure.
Or you all have other best friends? You want to get back to your best friends, like
I've had
I
my
don't know.
adventure.
It's up to you.
I've had my adventure.
Okay.
I mean, he's like, hey, have fun, and he just hops out of the car and goes back to where he was curled up on top of the industrial-sized dust bunnies, and just flops over and goes back to sleep.
Excellent.
Yeah. I stay with Becky. Just kind of go back to whatever she wants to do.
Sure.
Chill.
London's got the keys in his little mouth and jingling off of one of his canines, and he's just like running back and forth, and he like runs to the car and like jumps into the open top of the car, so right into the back seat, and he like oh.
Excellent. And then Artemis, what's your wrap up? You go back to your best friend.
Artemis is gonna go back to her best friend. And when she gets back home, she goes, she like zooms in her little dog door, and her mom's like, "What the heck? You've been gone. You left. You're not supposed to do that." And the first thing that she does is go over to the little like key ring that are the like little hooks that mom hangs her keys on, her shinies, and knocks them down so that she can let her mom know that she wants to go for a ride.
Oh, excellent.
I don't know
Excellent.
if it will work, but she's gonna try it.
Wow. We'll have to follow up next time. So we're going to end where we started with you, London. What's your spotlight little scene with your best friend when you actually get to go for this ride? This whole adventure has been for this moment. So what's it like?
Hearing the barking coming from the driveway, Tommy comes out through the garage door and, London, what is going? Where have you been? What are you? You need a bath. Just stop. Just stop. Okay, just stop. We're gonna go for a ride. Yeah, ride. Okay, fine. Just stop. Just stop. Stop. London, sit. London, sit. London. Oh, and he like kind of musses his head, and Tommy gets in the car, and London drops the keys over his shoulder, like into his lap. Where did you get? Forget it. And then there's the little red convertible starts up and pulls out of the driveway, and across the neighborhood you hear that little from the back.
All right, perfect. And you've had your first adventure in Heckin Doggos, and
Yay.
that ends with you get to mark another pip on your character sheet, either buff one of your attributes or to put another pip in a new skill, or another pip in the same skill, whatever you want. Mark one dot anywhere on your character.
But we can put that
And
in
that's-
stats or training.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Just
great.
get to put it wherever you want to put it.
Nice.
Ooh.
And then uncheck if you used any of your paw prints this episode, you can uncheck those and be ready for next time. So,
Cool.
hey, thanks for playing, everybody.
Excellent. Thank you
Yay.
so much, Matt, for
Thank you so
coming in and
much.
running for us. You know.
Yeah,
All
it was
right.
great fun.
Well, excellent. Well, if calling to a close for the night, Matt. Was there anything else you wanted to say?
I think I do like to kind of do a little bit. I don't do this too often or myself, but I've seen it done and I like it. So like kind of having a little cool down for a couple minutes about like what was a moment that you liked. You can each kind of pick one from the thing, and then we'll do like what kind of want to see maybe next time. If that makes sense to do that this time. Now that you've seen the things in play, like what kind of things can I do what kind of stories do we want to do for next, basically. So, yeah, anybody want to start with like a moment that they really want to highlight of the night? It can be like a role play moment or like a plot point, or I don't know.
I mean,
I'm gonna say,
yeah. Go ahead.
just watching London and Artemis play off of each other with the ride thing was just
Yes, every
so
time.
good.
Every time.
He's
I
like-
loved it.
It's the
So cute.
best.
Yeah, that was my
That's a
favorite
lot of fun.
thing.
That's a lot of fun.
I really loved bringing everybody together. I loved how we
Mhm.
all came in our own way, and just the way that it felt organic. I loved it. I love that kind of intro to pull people together. So
Yeah.
I really loved the interactions with the non-player characters, both like our humans as we had them, and then also with the raccoons and with the crows there at the end. Uh, that's always, I love the experiences when we get to have those character interactions.
And I would add to all this, on top of all that, I enjoyed the fact that, again, we're playing kind of, domesticated pets, and our adventure is super low stakes, but for us it's super high stakes, or at least for London it was super high stakes, right? And I loved the way that played out. It was a lot of fun to try the
Mhm.
pieces of our abilities, what we can do. Everybody's a little better at one thing than the other, and we all balanced off each other really well. I liked that a lot.
Yeah.
This group was a lot of fun to play with. I look forward to next Tuesday.
Same
Yeah,
here,
it'll be
for
great.
sure.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I think I really enjoyed. I think my highlight will be for you, Mike, and like your like commit to the bit kind of thing about like the howling and the like the way you were doing the thing. You were really going for it. So that's a great thing. But
I
yeah,
mean,
playing with
you
all of
got to
you was great.
commit. You got to commit, right?
Gotta
I
come in.
mean,
Yeah,
you bark
you,
once on stream, it's gonna happen more. It's
yeah. Now
Yeah.
you can't back
I'm
can't
in.
back away
I'm
from that.
in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fortunately for me, Daly is a very quiet dog otherwise. It's typically like
Sure.
there's little short, like, the boofs of like attention getting, or the like yips of like, hey, I'm outside, let me in, kind of thing. Otherwise, she's just like, nah.
All
Like
the
I said,
huskies, all the
oh,
huskies I've
all the
known have ever
huskies.
been sled dogs. I've known two like
Oh,
sled dog huskies, and for the most part they're chill. But if they ever get like in a pack of dogs, they get so excitable. So I loved that, bringing that energy to this little group of like our little pack.
I
Yeah.
love it. That all of the non-working huskies I know are super talkative dogs. They are
Yes.
super expressive, and it's
Yes.
so sweet.
Yeah. Our the dog that I mentioned at the beginning, Lizzie. We think that there might be a little bit of husky in her because she, when I come home, she talks. She does the whole wah 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 kind of stuff as I come
The,
in. So
the
yeah, just yep. She is a
less
trip.
barking, more like singing.
Yeah.
Speaking of singing, where's mine?
Uh, so right
Wait
quick
a minute.
before I hand it back to John for the close, like anybody have anything that they want like throw out as like something they kind of like it could kind of be like a character moment or like a landscape kind of thing, like whatever you what kind of things would we want to see the next time around, like and I'll try to accommodate as many of those like desires as possible.
Mm.
um but
I have one.
yeah, please.
I want a return of the crows. Like some of them have kind of adopted Becky sort of scenario.
All right, I can see that.
I don't know. 'Cause for me, I've
Or
enjoyed.
maybe something you didn't see that you want to see next time. Sorry, John.
Oh no, no. I was trying to think of I always love getting into the nitty-gritty with games and seeing a lot of the mechanics and how things work out. So I would love to do some more of the scenes where we're, with the cards and everything else as well, and how that plays out.
Okay.
So the
Hmm.
challenges with that I always enjoy.
Oh yeah, that was fun
Okay.
too. Not that I
Yes.
contributed much to anything. I just kind of I sat there and looked pretty. Or like, hey, if you don't do this one, you're gonna get this one.
Right.
PC, anything from you?
Mike's.
Um, I loved every second of that. That was so much fun.
That was sweet.
I don't really have any constructive criticism. I'm just here to have a
No.
good time.
Nice. Oh, nice.
Uh, I'm a big fan of recurring characters, so like again, I'd love to see the crows come back. I'd love to see that particular squirrel make another appearance. Like,
Sure.
Yeah.
the raccoons, any like, especially when we start talking about like other neighborhood wildlife and creatures, like, I don't know about the rest of y'all, but like I've got the nuttiest assortment of like backyard critters for being in an urban area,
Yeah.
and it always brightens my day to see the menagerie that's collected in my backyard. So, like, on top of the dogs and more adventures like this again, like something that is low key but high stakes for this group, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Very important.
Yeah. I,
Hmm.
I, that's a good way that you're hitting on that. Describing it that way. It's great. Okay. Well, I think we've played the game. We've had our little cooldown, and I think that's the end of that's the end. So, like, John, you got a outro that you do.
Pretty much at
Like, I
this.
think it's that time, right?
Yeah. At this point, just want to make sure everybody knows. Be sure to go by and check out our Discord. We do have a really good community that we consider to be really inclusive. Be sure to check that out. We do have a website as well. It is rookandrasp.com. That's a great way to see some of our previous games that we've done. I think it was our second episode of Seriously Let's Play was Never Going Home. And so you can go to our website, Rook and Rasp, and then
Right.
go click on the link for YouTube and go watch some of the other games from What Ink Games. Uh, other than that, next week we will be back on Tuesday again, and then Saturday next week we will have Calvin Johns with King Pink Darkness. And I'm looking forward to that one because I understand that our plot line is going to involve kind of a Mad Max scenario. So I'm really looking
Mhm.
forward to that.
I'm looking forward to it too. It was so fun.
Yeah. All right. Well, with that said, everyone stay safe, have a wonderful evening, and enjoy the rest of the week. We will see y'all next week. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.